a very important sector is the informal sector, on which these dreams lie. Look across the 36 states, you go to Alaba Market, Lagos Island. All these people who form a key part of the informal sector, a single shock can automatically change the way that business is run for them. And it is for this reason that Moniepoint recently released its 2025 Informal Economy Report, a report that offers fresh insight into the lives, struggles, and the resilience of millions of Nigerians who operate outside the formal financial system. They've also gone ahead to launch a chatbot, which we'll be exploring further during the course of this conversation. But joining us to give us the details of this report, as well as to explain what it means for us as individuals, what it means for our nation, and even for this daring dream of achieving a $1 trillion economy, is Public and Media Relations Manager at Moniepoint, Bemigho Awala. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to have you. So maybe we'll start with the basics. If you can maybe give us a brief overview of what this report entails. What are some of the highs and some of the lows of this report?
Okay. Before I dive into the numbers, I think that I'd be remiss if I did not also share the thinking behind the report. All right. So in 2024, being Nigeria's largest bank that caters to small businesses, especially those who play in the informal sector, we realized that, look, we're sitting on humongous data, all right, and we thought that it was important for us to be able to help policymakers, journalists, everyone and anyone better understand the informal economy. And we said, look, how best can we do this? And we poured into the data, and we saw some very interesting stories, that struck a nerve. And so we said, look, hey, let's collate all of this and provide a document, that will be robust enough to engage policy makers, governments, and everyone who's concerned about the industry, so that we're able to move from mere anecdotal references to very empirical and evidential-based thinking. All right, and so that was the driving force. And so last year we put our think tanks together, and we dug right in, and we saw some very interesting. We saw some very interesting data points. And so this year, we then thought to ourselves, okay, how do we better what we did last year? What behavioral traits have happened over the course of the last 1 year? What trends are we seeing? And so it was with that mindset that we dug right in this year again. And, we saw some very, very interesting numbers. For example, in terms of numbers, we see, for example, that unemployment remains a critical reason why a lot of people play in the formal space, because, again, formal opportunities are limited, all right? And so people are able to tap into their personal skill sets and, find a way to make a living. But guess what? Even though unemployment is a critical reason why people go into that space, people in the informal sector, 4 out of every 10 business in that space, then employs about 2 to 3 people in turn, all right? So paradoxically, people go into the informal space because of unemployment, but they are then able to create employment for at least 2, 3 more people. And we thought it was very, very fascinating, the paradox of the lives that we live as Nigerians. We also saw that, look, 79% of those businesses, all right, have very limited ability. 42% are unable to grow beyond 1 month, so their revenue, are capped at about less than $7 every month. All right, meaning that one single shock to a business can literally stall progress, or can ensure that they do not go beyond. They're not able to live beyond their current line. So pretty interesting numbers, and I urge everyone to go dive into that report. There's something in it for everyone, I can assure you. Something in it for everyone.
Okay, so I think that, thank you for setting the context for that report and why it was done. But we've seen 65% of informal businesses saw increase in revenue, but that's not corresponding in terms of the numbers that recorded profit. Why is that?
Well, what the data shows us is that, look, increasingly input costs have gone up, so whether it's in cost of transportation, whether it's in cost of data, whether it's even logistical inefficiencies that mark, what a lot of these businesses do. Don't forget that a lot of the people in the formal sectors are solo players, solo entrepreneurs, who then have to live with the nuances that define our daily lives, So whether it's fuel costs that have gone up, whether it's increase in electricity tariffs or rent. I mean, rent has become very problematic in Nigeria today. So these are the input costs that have gone up. And so these have reflected in the ability of these businesses to make profit. So yes, while revenue has gone up for some of those businesses, their profit lines are shrinking. Also remember that a lot of these businesses operate on very, very thin margins, all right? So they sell what everybody sells, biscuits, cakes, sweets, So the margins are thinner. All right, so when you then look at the increase in input costs and the fact that margins are small, then it means that, it affects their profitability, which is why we want to draw attention to this segment and say, look, let's give it all the support that it deserves to grow. Because guess what? I mean, the informal economy produces 42% of Nigeria's GDP.
Yes.
Whooping 42%, all right? And so if the shock absorber cannot withstand shock, then
we're in trouble.
We certainly cannot afford to overlook.
Let's talk about this report with regards to loans. The report mentions that a significant number of informal businesses receive very small loans, which shouldn't be. With only 6% securing loans above 1 million, how is Moniepoint addressing the financing challenges faced by informal entrepreneurs, especially women, who appear to have less access to larger loans?
Okay, talking about access to credit for a lot of the small businesses, don't forget that for a lot of the commercial banks, they run a very heavy collateralized credit system, all right, that does not cater to the nuance of the informal sector, all right? Also, do not forget
with high interest loans.
Absolutely, high interest rates as well.
Interest rates.
Yes, also do not forget that people would rather stick to what they know. All right, so a lot of these informal businesses already get credit from thrift collectors, cooperatives, all right? And I think that they believe the fear of, just getting indebted to say, hey, I don't want them to be dragging me and my family and my generation.
And then I'll use your photo to do obituary.
Absolutely, absolutely, because we have some exploitative and extortionist
loan sharks.
Absolutely, so that's also a problem. But what have we done, all right? What we have then done is to provide a credit-based lending system that meets these informal economies, these informal operators where they are. What do I mean, all right? So our credit is given on a cash flow basis. Because we have access to these businesses, we see what comes in, we see what goes out, all right? We're able to deploy credit based on the capacity of this business, all right? Catering to the nuance of that business as well. So if you're a trader, we see that over a 6-month period, you've banked with us, and we've seen what has come out inflow, we've seen what has come out as what has gone out as outflow, right? We're able to use data and analytics to say that if we give this business XYZ amount over, say, 6 months, okay, we believe that they can triple. And guys, I mean, 3 months ago, I went on a trade visit somewhere in Ugondo, all right, and I met this woman. Yaruka is her name. She's got 3 beautiful daughters, and 3 years ago, they moved to Lagos after the demolitions in Abuja. 2 houses were demolished, all right. She settled in Ugondo, the big market in Ugondo there. She began to sell biscuits, sweets, milk to the, in a stall, single stall, all right, to people around there. 2 years ago, one of our relationship managers walked up to her and said, look, hey, you can use this terminal to receive payments for these petty things you're selling, all right? And because, she felt, there's no harm. She came on board, she joined the Moniepoint family. I think after about 6-7 months, the relationship manager said, hey, you're eligible for credit. We can give you credit to increase your, the products that you sell. And she took on, some chunk of credit. Guys, in under 1.5 years, this lady is no longer a retailer. This lady now buys directly from the source, all right? She's 3x that profit. Trust me, she's 3x that profit. I mean, I saw it live and direct, where even a lot of the people who used to do mom and pop began, they came and started buying from her. She's a woman, all right? She has leveraged the power of credit to 2x, triple X her regular income. Back in the day, she said she used to make about 17,000 on a very good day. Today, she makes something less than 500K if the market is good in one day. All right, then imagine the number of dependencies. For every woman that we service, all right, there are at least 4 more families that are linked to that business. Absolutely. All right, that tells you how huge it's important that we provide credit facilities. So we use this credit-based lending system to provide credit. And I think that since we started deploying our working capital credits, we've been able to deploy over 12 billion naira in single interest loans for small businesses.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. But what is Moniepoint doing, working with the likes of regulators and financial institutions, especially to provide financial solutions for small businesses that are indeed tailored to ensure that they advance? You've talked about just one person.
Yes.
But for some, they would want to grow beyond where they are, but they have the hindrance of, policies upon policies. And I can tell you for free that I've met some of these women who sell in the market spaces. And when you tell them, Mama, say if you get loan, they say, I beg. The process is too long. It's too long. You have to bring the left arm of a cockroach and so on and so forth. Has Moniepoint been able to, break that barrier?
All right, I'll talk to two things quickly. I think one is providing the tools that they need to grow their business. All right, today, one of the reasons why they're unable to access credit, for example, is because of bookkeeping. All right, just about 38% of them have some form of notes or jotters where they keep accurate records of sales. All right, and what have we done? So we've seen this pattern, and we have then created a tool called Moneybook, which we hope to bring to the market very soon, that empowers these businesses, these small mom and pop shops, to have proper inventory of what they have so that they're able to keep proper records. They're able to know when stock will be depleted. They're able to track and trace what's coming for that day, proper reconciliation, and also do payments all in one gateway, all right? So you're not leaving the ecosystem, all right? For us, it's an ecosystem mindset that we're bringing to the industry to say, look, how do we ensure that these businesses in one ecosystem can do a lot more to better their businesses? That's one. Two, for example, on the Moniepoint business app, for example, today you are able to register your business if you do not have a formal business name. Correct. In under 20 minutes, with proper documentation, you can get your business registered on the app. You're not going elsewhere. All right, you're not talking to some other third party, right there on the app. All right, so we have seen this, and we hope to do a lot more. All right, especially in designing very strong female-centric products, for example, that accommodates the nuances of these women.
I like the sound of that, and I like the fact that Moniepoint has leveraged technology to expand its sphere of influence and how much impact it can bring to these businesses, which leads me to M. First of all, congratulations on the launch of M. It's the chatbot, the AI chatbot.
Thank you.
You're using to help people explore and analyze this report. How has, maybe give me a better, explanation of what M is, especially for our audience, and how much feedback you've gotten from those who have been able to interact with M.
I mean, almost everybody on this table has got a smartphone today, all right? Speaking to the power of technology, leveraging technology to, on your smartphone, you're able to see what's happening in Japan, China, you're able to keep abreast of what's happening, all right? So technology is a strong enabler. Technology helps us scale, all right? Moniepoint today stands on is powered by technology, all right? And so we've taken that thinking as well into say, look, a lot of times we've got lots of policies, we've got data, all right? But they just remain mere abstractions. All right, they remain hard, concrete, obtuse materials. All right, how can we simplify these materials so that everybody and anyone is better able to understand? And that's why we came up with M, to say, look, can we leverage AI, which is becoming part of our daily existence, whether as writing or just soundboarding. All right, so for us, M is that tool that enables, that shortens the journey for anyone who wants to learn more about the informal economy, because we're so committed to the informal economy. And so any tool that empowers people to better understand this space, this segment, you're looking for insights, you go to M, say, M, this is what I do as a business. How can I leverage the insights from this report to grow my income? All right, anything. M is imbued with data and statistics from the MBS, as well as our internal data. All right, and all of the work that we did behind the scenes to get the report out there. So M is just that simple tool that empowers you to move from just mere concrete, data that seems hard, all right, to something that is very simple, that in very everyday layman's English, that helps you better understand, what kind of business you're looking to do in the informal economy.
And can anyone access M?
Anybody can access M. Informaleconomy.moniepoint.com is the website. Right there and there, you're able to ask questions and converse. So full disclosure, I went for an interview last week, and all I did was I was chatting with M. I was feeding M the questions, and then was feeding me back the answers.
So did you get answers for this interview from M?
No, I didn't.
In 30 seconds, what is your hope with this report? What is your hope?
And where can we find the report?
Yes.
Where can they
The report is online, informaleconomy.moniepoint.com.
Yes.
All right, what's our hope for this report? Our hope for this report is that policymakers especially can dive into this report and we can come out, because this is evidence-based report.
With data.
Absolute robust data,
Yeah.
all right? And so policy making should no longer be a problem for the informal economy, all right? Our hope is that policymakers, regulators can go into this report, take actionable data, and off the back of this, build concrete solutions to move the informal economy from where it is, all right, to where it can be, because we believe that there are huge potentials. For gentlemen, members of the media, there are lots of stories in the informal report, that can aid your storytelling better and help audiences understand the nuances and trappings of the informal economy. So there's something in it for everyone, and I urge everyone who's watching us right now to dive into the report.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for your time.
Lovely.
Thank you.